Like maybe right now.
Yep.
Maybe it says that we're live talking Kramer guitars on exclusively Van Halen here on Johnny Beane TV, here on YouTube. You guys, this is a YouTube show. This is a Facebook show. Eventually, this will be a LinkedIn show. This is a podcast. And today is what? October 26th? 28th. Of 2022, 8:08 p.m. Eastern, 5:08 Pacific, 7:08 in Oklahoma. And we're going to talk Kramer guitars tonight, you guys. And we have a special guest tonight, so don't go anywhere. Smash that thumbs up. Smash that subscribe button. You want to get into the chat because we're giving away a copy of Diver Down tonight. And you got to be in the chat to participate. All you got to do is type. All you got to do is talk in the chat, and you're entered to win. So here we go. This is exclusively Van Halen. Let's do this.
Hey, this is Michael Anthony right here, and you are watching exclusively Van Halen on the Johnny Beane TV. Keep it there. Woo! See ya!
You gotta get one of these sound boxes for your videos. That's the applause. Yeah, we're live. We're live today. Hey, what's up, everybody? Johnny Beane here. Johnny Beane here. Huh? Marco is messaging me on WhatsApp. Here is my early 80s Kramer Focus. Look at that. We're getting messages already about Kramer guitars. We love Kramer guitars. And we have a very special guest here, right now. You guys might know him from the chat. You guys, here he is. Robbie Stingle.
All right.
Robbie Stingle. You know a thing or two about Kramer guitars, huh?
Oh, yeah. I was there at the factory.
Right on. Right on. This is exciting, man. This is great. This is, you guys, Robbie is an awesome dude. You guys have seen him in the chat. And look at that. He's got the Kramer shirt on. We'll be talking Kramer, vintage Kramer. The stuff we grew up on. And yeah. But hey, let's make this a real show. Let's go ahead and say hello to the top tier of channel members here on Johnny Beane TV. Here on YouTube, we have channel membership, and the top tier are the executive producers. And if I can find the card, there we go. Stephen Franklin, Michael Smith, Music Therapy Laz, Majestic PB and J Cat, Thomas Santiago, Guitar Man 45, Sherman Callahan, Thomas Santiago, John Moronic, R. Habs, David Allen Wright, and Warlag. That's the top tier of channel members. I see you, Guitar Man 45. I see you in the chat because your name is in green. You're a channel member. I see you, man. I see you guys. Channel membership, it's a way you can help support the channel, support these shows, as you guys may know. But if you're brand new here, again, my name's Johnny Beane. We talk all things Van Halen here on exclusively Van Halen, talking Kramer guitars tonight. And it's awesomeness. So hey, Robbie, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, Johnny.
Right on.
I love these things, people.
Look at that. That's yours? That's one that you did?
Yeah. This is a actual early 82 Poplar Pacer Special that was made at the Kramer factory. The body.
Wow. Uh-huh.
Back when they were making necks and or bodies in 82. And that's what Ed that's the body that Ed used on his 5150s.
Whoa, man! You guys, that's my favorite guitar ever. Is the Kramer 5150.
Hey, Eddie loved his.
I mean, that's just the coolest. I mean, look at that. That's the actual one right there too in that graphic. That's the actual guitar, 86 era, I believe. That's like just the coolest guitar ever for me. Always wanted one. Ever since I was a kid, and I've got a couple cool ones here. I've got what's called the GMW Kramer 5150. This company called GMW Guitar Works. I guess they were making them years ago, and I played South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, and they have the guitar show there, and they had one there, and I got that, and so I've got a couple cool Kramers. Well, no, a few actually. Yeah. A few of them, but man. Well, hey, let me just tell you guys too. Robbie and I, we've been talking on the phone a bunch, talking, Kramer guitar, just talking, general stuff, and just having a great time talking about this stuff. And it's funny because Robbie, you get to hear me because I do like deliveries. I'm like a delivery driver basically, and Robbie's like, oh, I can hear you, like you're delivering this, delivering that, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's easy to get hungry listening to him.
I delivered a pizza today. What else did I deliver? I delivered a burrito. I delivered what else? Coffee. So much stuff. Oh, food, man. Okay, you guys remember, smash that thumbs up. If this is your first time here, you want to subscribe to this channel, especially if you like Van Halen guitars, Kramer guitars, anything, any of that stuff. And by the way, if you guys missed it, I luckily I was able to play one of the brand new EVH 78 Eruption guitars. And there should be a link in the chat. Actually, Nightbot already put it there before I even said it. There we go. Thank you, Nightbot. So yeah, check out after this video tonight. Check out this video right here if you have not seen it yet. Very, very cool. So hey, dude, Kramer, let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning. How did you get? Well, let's go back even further. How did you discover just Van Halen in general?
Well, I used to ride my skateboard around at night with a 12-string guitar, acoustic.
Uh-huh.
And, Van Halen wanted to come out, and I had heard it, but I have to admit, I thought Dave was a little strange with the shrieking and all, but I really liked Eddie's guitar playing. And eventually, and every kid in the world was learning, they talking about love, and, trying to play Eruption. I had a version, but I was thinking scales, and I kept it in a pentatonic scale. But Ed doesn't do that. He goes one fret over when he does those that part in the beginning, and I had got that wrong for years, But we were all playing stuff like that, and I started to get into it, and I would ride down the roads at night, after drinking some and playing, Ain't Talking About Love, and especially Atomic Punk. There's nothing like rolling down a steep hill with your 12-string, jamming out and saying that nobody rules these streets at night but me, And that kind of where it started. I mean, I had friends that worked at Kramer pretty far back, and they were all trying to get me to work there. And I was like, well, no, I can go make trusses for, $5.50 an hour instead of $3.75, $4 at the Kramer plant. They only had like 20 people. They were desperate for people to work there, And eventually, I had a friend that worked there, and I used to drive him to work, almost every day. And eventually I just put the application in and started working there. And that was in early '84. So, but I had I knew people from Kramer, like Bill Isaacson, that he made me that Red Tiger guitar. I picked out the wood right there in his shop. He ended up getting fired or quit. It was always a mystery when you left Kramer exactly why. But he had bought a bunch of wood because he was the head of guitars at the time, and they were making bodies at the plant. So he took most of the wood and stashed it at the Kramer factory, thinking it'd be safe there. But he took the really good-looking stuff and put it in his shop in Red Bank, New Jersey. So this guy I knew that worked there, he told me about Bill. I went to his shop and picked out the wood that he had there, and he was going to make me the body for $250. I think with the guitar, putting it together and everything, it was probably about $450, $500, and that was back in '82, Well, apparently he went on vacation, and all the wood he acquired that was, all really nice bird's eye, and it was supposed to be like this new thing of like Kramer was going to do, wood grain, a run of wood grain, and all the people in the wood shop just ran it through production. It all got painted. It went right out the door. By the time he got back from vacation, Kramer was like, "Where's the wood? What's this other? Where's the rest of the wood?" And he was gone. So he actually finished that guitar for me after he was like quit or fired. But that wood still exists. They put some of it away and used it on some of the early Beretta guitars. So if you have a Beretta from '84, and it has like little pieces of, burl coming up through the paint, you see little dots, that's one of those pieces of wood. And it's fairly rare, So that would be something to kind of keep intact because there wasn't a whole lot of those.
So everybody check your Kramers. Everybody check your Kramers for actually let me look actually. Well, hey, Mike Olson, thank you so much, man. Mike Olson, I could listen to Robbie's stories about Kramer guitars for hours. Well, you're in luck because we're gonna be live for hours. Well, maybe not that long, but good job putting him on the show.
Mike rocks. Mike definitely rocks.
Mike, thank you for your support, man, for the show. If you guys are wondering, and hey, this is perfect, 'cause I didn't even announce this yet. You guys, if you'd like to help support this channel and support these shows, you can help out with what's called super chats, and that's actually what Mike just did there. He just dropped a super chat. Where's the? There we go. Help support the show, support this channel with super chats. And in doing so, you get a shout out instantly on Twitter, at Johnny Beane on Twitter, and you change the color of my lights. So if you saw behind me what had happened, my lights had actually changed to the color of the super chat. So that's a way you can help support this channel, support these shows here on Johnny Beane TV, here on YouTube, Facebook, eventually LinkedIn. So hey, Mike Olson, thank you so much, man. So, okay. So you're saying there's Kramer Berettas out there that have like this really nice wood underneath the finish, but sometimes you can kind of see like underneath like the burl and the
the bird's eye,
the cool stuff. Yeah, I'm just joking around. This is a Focus, so this wouldn't have been one of those, huh?
No, that body was made by ESP in Japan. See, the whole thing with the guy that was in charge of Kramer was from the very beginning. He wanted to get rid of making guitar bodies at the factory, and by 1985, it was all ESP parts, and they were just sending them to the factory, and we would paint them. We would you know, if we had a clearance for Floyd Rose, we do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we check the neck pockets and the route and whatnot. So they were all ESP by then, and all the people that worked in the wood spot, except for a couple that were really there to do repairs. That whole side of this thing was gone. But a lot of people think that Kramer only imported bodies and assembled at the plant, and that isn't true. That isn't true at all. They did actually make bodies there at the plant. For some time. You're talking, basically from 1980, 81, right about when Eddie started walking around to, about 1985, into the 85 bit.
Mm-hmm.
After that, if they needed a custom body made, they probably farmed it out to Schechter, because he was making bodies at the time with Wayne Charvel would paint them. He'd make them. Wayne would paint them.
Cool.
For the custom orders. Some artists before it got way out of hand, where they had so many endorsees, they were making so many endorsement guitars that they were all going through, production. And Billy Connolly, who was there at the time, God rest his soul, he's passed on, but he would basically kind of set them up, look at them, make sure they're okay, but he didn't really have time to do anything else. Why a lot of Sammy Hagar's guitars went right through production too. I worked on those.
Oh wow!
Pointy headstocks.
Yeah.
Special ordered the red Floyd and the tuning keys from Schaller, and that's like an ionized red. It's not a paint. It's just like if you get a gold Floyd, and that's that's kind of plated on there. They didn't use like paint to do that, or it wouldn't have been very durable at all.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the Endorsee Kramer guitars, let's do you ever go over to Vintage Kramer, the website?
I've been there. They kind of shut some of it down recently. They used to have a serial number tracker on there. They got rid of that. And then I heard somebody else was going to take it over, but I never could.
Yeah, I think I know the guy that ran this for years. But here's like some photos of like some of the Endorsee Kramer guitars. So you're saying there was like a lot. I mean, I do remember back in the day. I started playing the guitar in '87, and I got my Kramer, my Focus 1000. I got that in '89. But let's say from '87 to '90, I was all Kramer guitar, Kramer everything. Basically until Eddie went to Music Man and started playing those, then I was like, oh, Music Man, But no, I was I still am a huge fan of Kramer's, and I do remember seeing the all the the magazine ads, the Guitar Worlds, the guitar player, guitarist for the practicing musician, all that stuff, and seeing all the Kramer ads, and yeah, there was a lot of them. I do remember.
Well, these guys would come walk through the factory. I only saw David Lee Roth one time, walk through the factory. He didn't really hang out there, but
Really?
Bon Jovi and his band would walk through. You had all those metal bands. Rat went through there. We had, Springsteen, Van Zandt went there. He had custom guitars made. Just about everybody. If they didn't go to the factory, they were sent there. Nancy Wilson had a Kramer. All the guitarists in 1986, they were all Kramer endorsees, and you see the Kramer logo. Now, Kramer made George Lynch a guitar in '85, and they had a few of those George Lynch models, but by the end of '85, he went with totally ESP. That, which you could probably say it's kind of the same guitar, because the parts were all ESP at that point anyway.
Right.
So, naturally, me being at the factory in the earlier days, everything's got to be super, legitimately authentic for me to build something out of. I have a real hard time using, different stuff made recently, by companies that isn't like the real thing. I mean, this guitar neck on this one is a 1979 ESP Banana before they even had Floyd Roses, and it could
Really?
have been. Oh, sure,
Oh,
sure.
let's take a look at that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. See, now this was
Hang on.
before you could see how the neck has no glued-on fretboard. It is one piece, handcrafted in
Oh
Japan
man.
by those craftsmen were great. It's a 2¼ inch wide neck, and these original 82 Pacer specials were 2¼ inch pockets, so it actually fit on really good. I had to do a lot of work to it, and it had been refretted, and I had to kind of finish that job too. But
Mm-hmm.
it was just, I was lucky to find it because the guy selling it didn't know what it was because it didn't have any identification marks.
Mm-hmm.
And by all means, it was probably had the black ESP stamp on the heel. But when they refretted it, they probably sanded that off. They sanded the whole headstock off, so there was nothing to say ESP on it. But I knew it because you can see on ESP Banana necks, they have, there, you could see, you might be able to see it. Okay, there you go. There's a curve. Do you see there's a curve on the face of this headstock?
On the front,
Yeah, it curves.
it curves over.
Yeah, it kind of goes like this a little bit on the
Okay.
face. That's a
Okay.
telltale sign. And not only that, but this is the Grail Banana shape before the actual Grail guitars came out. So,
Wow.
yeah, so and I got it for $300, easily worth 800 or 900, you know. So I was really fortunate
Man.
to get that, but I knew what it was, and that's helped me a lot. Being able to identify these things, I can see something and I can tell you, not only a year, sometimes a month, sometimes it's down to a couple of weeks when they change stuff. So, to me, the vintage parts are very important to building one of these. To me
Mm-hmm.
personally,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And
because I mean, they didn't have Floyd Rose, um, you know, uh, shelves. See, I don't know if you could see that the nut hangs over the end of the shelf.
yeah.
This did
Yeah, I
not
see
have
that.
a locking nut. This had just a regular nut, and I hand filed it, fitted it and then I hand drilled you know the the nuts on the back, and 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 did the countersinks too. Of course, that's
Mm-hmm.
how it started out in Kramer. I was milling necks, countersinking, drilling, and attaching a neck. But at Kramer, you had to mill more. They had you mill too much wood and use a shim. That was their policy. So naturally, when I do it, I don't do that. I had no shim on this thing, and I
Mm-hmm.
also used the nut in '83 up to '83. The Floyd Rose nuts weren't as high as the ones like you see today. They were a shorter nut from the bottom of the nut to the where the string goes through on the G and the D, where it V's in. That's
Okay.
about 1/4 inch. It's a little less than 1/4 inch. And those are also the nuts that were used on the humpback locking nut from the early Fernandez Floyd Roses, And I lucked out and actually found a bunch of those. That helps a lot. You can slam the strings way down off the nut. I gotta
Mm-hmm.
have my strings super low, and you can see how low the action is and how low that nut is.
Yeah, man. That's wow.
You know, I need to do this stuff because I have the rheumatoid arthritis. It makes it hard for me to play, and it's just the guitar's got to really almost play itself, for me to have any sort of speed in playing.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where it all kind of started for me, and trying to make a guitar to play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hey, I got to say something here.
Man.
This chat room is just the best. I fit in here like a glove. You guys are all great. You're watching my videos, and I just want to shout out to every one of you that has interest in this, and it means a lot to me. I'm just doing it to try to tell the story and help people, and I just wanted to say, this chat room got me started. Janice got me started. She subscribed to a channel I didn't have. Johnny subscribed right away. He was like number 2. And I have Johnny Beane TV to thank for this. And you guys in this chat room have made me feel right at home. That means a lot to me.
You're welcome, man. You're totally welcome. And by the way, actually, I'm glad you reminded me about that. Robbie has a channel. Let me go over to your channel. Let's get you guys over. Let's get Robbie some more subscribers tonight. Let's see. Let me find your channel here. Okay. All right, here it is. I'll put it in the chat here. I want everybody here to jump on over and smash that subscribe button for Robbie. Let me just make sure. Hopefully this is the right. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I feature every guitar that I've built and a rundown on the build, how I got the parts, stories behind it, and I threw in some, factory stories about Eddie. He was just such a cool cat.
There you go. There's Robbie's channel, you guys. He's got 30 subscribers. We got about roughly 50 people in here tonight. So by the end of the show tonight, I want to see if we can at least double his subscribers over there. Robbie's been posting a lot of videos, a lot of stuff, a lot of YouTube shorts. Let's see, a lot of stuff. Hang on one sec. Hang on, I got to turn my camera off for 1 second. There we go. So you guys head on over to Robbie's channel and check it out.
Well, I sure do appreciate that. I really do.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, man.
I love this thing. You can see it has the bigger numbers. When Eddie originally put the numbers on his guitar, he used this bigger font. He didn't leave it on for very long. But you can see it on the original 5150, what's left of it.
Man, that's I'd never heard that. You told me that. Was that yesterday?
Yeah, I think so.
We were talking, and so say that again, because I don't know if a lot of people know that. I never knew that.
Well, of course, Eddie didn't use the numbers when he first went out on that tour. And then he got them at the hardware store and put them on the guitar. And the original numbers were this bigger font. This is a 2.5-inch font. So there's not the 2-inch font that they're selling like And I had a place here in Norman, Oklahoma, and I had to make these for me. And it's Image 360 in Norman. They already have this laid out, so you guys won't have to pay as much as I did for them. But I'm happy to say that, because I think I paid $60 for 3 sets. Comes with both stars, the 5150 numbers. They're vinyl transfer. But see, if you buy them now, because I had to pay for the setup, and they gave me a set for free because it was my birthday, so that was nice. Always good to get birthday presents. This body my sister bought me from Uplander Guitars in California is as rare as this thing is. She bought it for me, and it was about $380. Oh, it was beat up. No, what it was way beat up. You got to be half woodworker and half woodworm to work on these things, but it was worth it. It was all worth doing. You know, if you guys looking for old bodies like that, you don't expect to find them all painted nice. They're going to need to be refinished. They're going to have to be repainted. You know, and the 5150s, both versions. There was the 82, and that's what this one's based on. And they made two of these, one with black hardware, which is what I built this one based on. And it has the skinnier Destroyer headstock, and that's the one that Eddie had on the Shark guitar. And you know, we called it the Destroyer because even when I got there in '84, we were still trying to glue it together. We glued it together, it kept breaking, it didn't sound right. You know, it held together long enough for him to do the picture on the Women and Children first album, but so we call that the Destroyer. And he had this thinner headstock. This is the JK1000 neck from ESP, one of the earliest. And it has the headstock's just a little bit wider than the later models, and you know, so that's what I based this off. But both that in '82, when as far as I know of, they only made two of those, and then the run of 5, which is what this is based on. We did 5 of these bodies, Poplar 82 special, Pacer specials for Ed. And he did not spray paint those. Both of those were sprayed in the paint booth. He went in the paint booth with the guys in the paint booth. He helped tape them off. He supervised, you know, but he didn't spray paint them. You know, they had clear coat on them. They were, you know, really nicely done. And Ed loved that because Ed always wanted to have quality guitars. He didn't really consider what he was building much for a quality thing, you know. And so he comes into the assembly room with the guys from the paint room, and they're all carrying these, you know, 5150s. It just came out of the paint booth, and Eddie wanted us to put them on the floor, like one by one, and kick them around the room to make them look not new. You know, and we did that, and he said you have to kick it lightly with the side of your foot. Okay, so we did that. Then he took us out to the parking lot, right? Out there in 1111 Green Grove Road in Neptune, New Jersey. And he told us exactly where to kick the guitar because the contours were different in the parking lot here and there. He was very specific about that. And, you know, I guess I had personal contact with that guitar, you know. And, you know, we'd get now, Paul Unkert did the early necks. He did the necks out of the Beak neck, Kramer necks that were made from ESP. And, you know, he glued the banana pieces on them. And, you know, he dressed the necks for Ed and stuff. So I didn't know about what he did after with those. But with these, Billy Connolly would be kind of finished with the guitar and give it to Ed. And then the first thing Ed would do was disassemble the guitar. I mean, it's the first thing. You know, he didn't even play it. He's like, disassemble it. He comes running into the neck room. There was 3 of us in there. It was kind of a little room, too. We were like in the little room, and we had this big fan in one wall. And we'd always turn that fan on when that one song would come on. You're Addicted to Love, right? At the time, they were playing the crap out of that song. And, you know,
Robert Palmer.
We'd hear that and hit the switch, you know. But I mean, Eddie come running in. This is good. Anybody out there that works on guitars should listen to this. He thought of this. Eddie come running in with his neck, and he says, you know, right, he just took it off. The guitar was done. Billy Connolly was done. He took it apart, runs into the neck room with the neck, and he tells us, all right, you guys, back bow the neck, adjust the neck so there's a back bow in it, right? And then sand the living piss out of the frets, right? Just go to town on them. and then make the thinnest crown line you can on each fret, almost wiping it out, and then steel wool the crap out of it. And that's what we did. I was going through 7-10 pads of steel wool in like 10 minutes, just going crazy on this thing. And
Man.
you know, he thought after that we did all the necks that way. We used to get necks, you know, oh, it almost has a buzz here, or it sounds slappy, or you know, it's not right. And after that, we didn't get any redresses because the logic is, if you backbow the neck and then, like, you know, level it, which is not leveling, it's not leveling. You are sanding in the relief into the frets. So when you straighten it and you get that neck perfectly straight, you're going to have that relief in the frets, and you can slam the strings down further. And Eddie thought of this. This is the genius that was Eddie Van Halen, to think of doing that. I've done them that way all my life, and I to this day, every neck I do that like that. Of course,
Wow,
this is the old days. This is after he went to, you know, Music Man and all this. This was the first days, you know, some of the first days of Kramer back then. And yeah, I mean, wax potting the pickup, that was genius too, you know, helping develop the whale tail on the Floyd Rose. He was great friends with Floyd Rose. They were really great friends. After Floyd had sought him out, they became really good friends. And yeah, the stuff he did with the guitar is absolutely outstanding. All of us, everybody's going to be forever in his debt for what he did.
Yeah. Yeah. That's applause. Yeah. So you learned a lot. I mean, we all did, but so you're saying basically from what you saw at Kramer with what Edward, with his ideas and how to, you know, how to work on the neck, how to do this and that, you do that with everything that you do, with all the guitars that you work on and stuff.
To get the sound, I get out of the amplifier. It's, you know, all tube amplifier. I use the LED diode in a distortion box, because there's no solid state preamp in this thing. This Marshall, it's a Studio Vintage 20 watt, so it's like a small plexi, and it also has an attenuator to go from 20 watt to 5 watt, which is very close to what Ed did with the Variac, but it's built into the amp, you know, and that really helps. But every aspect of the guitar has to be basically, you know, the same thing. You have to have an 022 600 volt capacitor. It has to be wired from your hot position on your potentiometer to ground. So your pickup hot goes to the one connection on the outside, and the capacitor goes from that connection to ground. The middle connection is the input jack, which is really output, but they call it input. And the third one is just folded over and soldered right to the casing of the potometer, you know. And that's the wiring. I use 2 springs. I don't do it the way it did. My springs are straight, but there are 2 springs on the Floyd. And what I discovered this last week, because I had tried to do a video with this guitar earlier in the week, and I was getting a overtone so bad I couldn't tap on the strings, and there's no way to solve it. You couldn't palm the string, you couldn't mute it. It was horrible. And what I had done, because this body was originally routed for Rockinger, and then it was routed again for Floyd Rose, it had lots of room. And at the, you know, in the factory, when we got the big blocks, we thought, well, this is stupid. You can't dive it all the way down. It hits the body of the guitar. You know, we were like, you know, why would you want that? But in my case, I put a big brass block in here, and it increased the treble to the point I couldn't tap with the guitar with my sound that I have. And basically building the guitar around that sound, I switched the block to the regular block, and it got rid of the sound, and it taps like joy now. If you're going to use the big block, I would suggest getting the steel block. Kyle at Dive Bomb has them for like $89. I was going to do that, but he's really swamped right now. But he makes some really good stuff. He's actually coming out to my house to measure this body so he can make a really authentic 5150. Because there's things on this, the horn, the top horn is small. You can see. You see how small this horn is? You can notice that in the pictures too. The other horn is small. This area here, it does not bulge out like some of these manufacturers. It's slender here. And of course, the jack is at an angle. It doesn't come straight out the body. Now, later on, when you get, into the late 80s and early 90s, by the time he had technicians, changed to a jack plate on the guitar, there was lots of modifications to it. It started out red. I was there. They were red. But by the time we see what's left of the 5150 now, it's orange. But they were red. They were red when I kicked them around on the floor. And that's just the way it was. And he's going to measure it just to make sure it's fully accurate. He's a great guy. Does great work.
Cool. Right on, man. So wait, so you're saying the Kramer 5150, when you first saw it, it was red?
Yes.
It was red, and then over time it turned orange.
Yeah, all 5 of them were red. We did 5 of them for red.
That's cool. So that's like what? I don't know. I mean, like, he's had so many guitars over the years, and like I was telling you earlier, I mean, I love all the different Kramers. The 5150 is my favorite guitar ever, but aside from that, the 84 Kramer, all the backup ones that you see every now and again, I love all that stuff. It's so cool. Yeah. 0812 has a question. By the way, thank you everybody for watching tonight. 0812 is saying, Robbie, did you mention what wood it was made of?
Yeah, it's poplar.
So the Kramer 5150 is poplar.
Yes.
Poplar. That's what you're saying. Because, on Facebook, people fight all day long about that.
Hey, what do I know? I was there, Oh, that's why I searched the ends of the earth for these poplar bodies. And getting one that's the Pacer Special from 82 with the 2 1/4 inch neck pocket, the early one, that was like gold, Now this body is a later 82, and you can see that, the horn is just a little bit bigger, not big by any means, but it's a little bit bigger. This one had a router Trem cover, so it's sunk. The Trem route is sunken in to fit the cover. And when I sanded this body down, I found out that it was actually a Paul Unkert glue up that the guy in charge of Kramer wanted to try to save money by gluing parts together to make guitars. And this was experimental, and you could see where it was glued and the way it was glued. It was definitely Paul Unkert's work. And it was also an experiment for a veneer on the front and the back. And when I got this body, the guy didn't want to sell it to me because the veneer started to raise up. And I was like, no, I want that. It's poplar. So I got it and did the work to it and sent it out to get painted. And that guy repaired it even further. But this was a later 84. And it has a 2 3/16 inch neck pocket. And that worked with the JK1000 neck from ESP. So that all fit together pretty well. Of course, I built this guitar before the other one. But,
Right.
I just love the old stuff. What can I say?
I know, man. I know. It's quality stuff. Right? Hey, let's say hello to some people. We have a lot of people. We're close to 70 people here watching live. This is awesome, you guys. Yeah.
All right.
And don't forget, subscribe to Robbie. His channel is in the chat right over there. Give him a subscribe. There he is, right there. He's brand new to YouTube. You know, I'm the old man here. I've been on YouTube for 17 years. Robbie's brand new, so we're helping him out. We're getting him some Robbie Rocks. That's right, Alonzo. Hey, man. Alonzo is here. The official Rob Blackmore is here, you guys. Six Fingered Assault. Donald Young. I texted you a couple pictures. I hope they're guitars. Let me see. Oh, wait, is this you? Wait, oh, Donald. Okay, let me see. He sent a couple photos. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's got the Guitar Classics magazine. That's a good one. I remember that one. That was years ago. Okay, what else? Oh, a photo of Edward with the black Ripley, which I have. I have one of those. I'll dig it out at some point. Actually, our friend Glenn LaFurman took these photos. But yeah, I have the same, not the exact same guitar, but I have the same thing. I've got the black Ripley as well.
Yeah, Ed's was custom made for him.
Mm-hmm. Amazing stuff. Zach is here. Facebook user says happy 5150 Friday. Welcome, Facebook user. If you guys are watching us on Facebook, let us know your name, because Facebook likes to block the name and the avatar, as you can see. So if you want, you can let us know who you are. Let's see. Mike Olson, of course, is here. Let's see. Opie is here. Was the 1984 made before the 5150 guitar? Do you happen to know?
No, the first 5150 was made in 1982.
The original?
Yeah.
The original one.
The original one. They made two of them, one with black hardware. With the destroyer neck. It was like that night. The first night they had the Floyd Rose, and they put the destroyer neck on a Pacer Deluxe body. So it looked more like the Frankenstein Strat, It had no finish on it. Eddie brought a piece of record that he had cut out, vinyl record, and drilled a hole in and sanded it down. And he brought a pickup that Seymour Duncan custom wound for him. And that was the first time the Floyd Rose was in a body like that. And that was the testing. That was late 81, actually. They didn't actually make the first 5150 till 82. But this was like in the experimental phase. And Paul Unkert had left. He had gone home. And they used the Rockinger locking nut that was on the destroyer neck and bolted it on like that. And there's a picture of Ed sitting there with this guitar, and he looks like he's doing pretty well. I'll just say that. And that was like the first time they bolted together. The next morning, Unkert came in and made the headstock out of the beak neck and put the Floyd Rose in. Now, nobody knew how to put the Floyd Rose nut on at the time.
Let me see if I can. Actually, I think those photos you're talking about, or that photo, they might actually have them on Vintage Kramer. Possibly. Is that possibly when Eddie was at the where is it? See if I can find it. Or actually, you guys, there's a phone number right down there below, 415-952-3263. If you know the photo he's talking about, feel free to text it in. I think I know the one you're talking about. I'm going to see if I can Edward in the Factory. Is it possibly one of... Well, these are the Glenn LaFurman photos. I don't think it's any of these. That's with the Neptune guitar. I don't...
Right.
It's not that one.
we had some revelations on that yesterday too.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Okay, I'm looking, but anyway, yeah. If you guys know what he's talking about, send in, text in the picture. I think it's a black and white photo, right?
I don't have it on me. I'm sorry, but it's pretty cool. And yeah, so you said that they made a Neptune guitar in '83.
Mm-hmm.
Before I was at Kramer, but I saw Ed do the black stripes on 2 of those in '84. Yeah, I mean that was the same thing. Come out of the paint booth, but it had no black stripes.
Uh-huh.
And Ed taped it off, and he got too close to the paint can, and he made the blob, and then waited for it to dry, and he screwed the rest of it together, and voila, you had a guitar made by Ed.
Man. Oh, that's cool.
So that means there's 3 of them out there. I know of 2. There's definitely 2. And you know of the one in '83 that Paul Unkert did. You said that Paul Unkert painted himself.
I saw that one. That one's at the Hard Rock Cafe in Hollywood. That one I've seen. I've seen in person. Let's see. I'm scrolling through a bunch of photos here. I might be able to find the photo of what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's like sitting on a bench. You can see that. You can see Unkert's workbench behind him, and he's just sitting there, playing this. No finish on the body.
Right.
Destroyed her neck.
There's no finish on the body, but he's playing the guitar with the neck, and then and there's like a photo of him playing like the Duke bass too, right? He's sitting there with the bass and.
Yeah, I never saw that one.
I think that's them, but yeah, I'm looking. But yeah, if anybody, if you have the photo, if you'd like to text it in, we'll show it. There's the phone number right down there below. Yeah. Wait a minute. Alonzo, is that it? Where did you send that? WhatsApp? Let's see, you're typing. Oh, no, that's something else. I saw that. That's something else. Let me see. Alonzo said, Johnny, can you shout out my friend Rebecca? Rebecca! Thanks for watching. Let's see. Our friend Marco sent in a photo on WhatsApp. By the way, you guys, you can actually connect this phone number down below to your WhatsApp. You can actually save that number and save it as Johnny Beane TV. And if you message me on WhatsApp, I'll know who you are. Let's see. Here is my Kramer. Oh, this is Coots. Here's my Kramer early 80s Focus 1000. Mint, he says. These are awesome. Like I was telling Robbie earlier, I love these guitars. The Focus. The 80s Focus guitars. I mean, that's what mine is. That guitar I just showed you, that one, it's the same.
Let's see the headstock, Johnny.
It's basically the same. It looks like his is one of the smaller...
smaller banana.
Actually, his is like mine. It's one of the smaller, like, pointy...
Oh, okay.
There it is.
Yeah, that's pointy. So that's probably from '86.
Okay.
I remember at the factory when they brought those pointing headstocks in. We thought that was just terrible. Why are they doing this? It was like Eddie's playing banana necks. Why is it pointy? That was crazy. Well, it was like when we got those neck through ESPs. And I forget what was that the Stage Master.
Yeah.
I was there when the first one came into the factory.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to put the Floyd on there, and we couldn't get the action down because when they make a neck through, the angle of the neck going into the pocket, it has to be exactly right. When you're talking about, maybe a 64th of an inch can make the difference between the neck angle being correct or not. And that's why if you bolt the neck on to a body, you can put a shim in there to raise the neck up and lower your action on a top mounted Floyd. Well, we got these neck drews, and we couldn't get that action down. We were sanding the heck out of the saddles. I mean, your saddle is probably about this thick, and we were sanding them down to, I mean, they were breaking apart on the sanding wheel. We were trying to get the action down. We were bowing the darn truss rod. We were slamming the thing into the top with the Floyd studs. We couldn't get the action down. We couldn't get the action down to where it could go out the factory. And I mean, I was actually there for this. We took a hand router, taped off the top of that body, and routed that top out so the Floyd would sink down to the body. This is the first time anybody ever did it. Only Kramer had Floyd Rose at that time. This is the first time anybody ever did that recessed Floyd thing. And we got the action down doing that. And miraculously didn't even chip the paint up because we taped it off rather well. But everybody always says, well, they recessed the Floyd so you can pull up on it more. Well, wrong answer, Hans. It was really, it was to get the action down. We couldn't get the action down at all. We didn't like it. We had to get 37 millimeter blocks because it stuck through the end of the guitar. It didn't sound as good like that. But that's what we had to do to get the action down. And there's people out there that say, well, if it was designed properly, then you wouldn't have to do that. It would be exactly where it has to be. And yeah, tell that to the guy, in Japan that's putting the guitar together and gluing the neck on, and he's gonna, he's got some jig, and that's gonna have play. It's just like when Kramer did the routering and the Floyd stud positioning on the bodies. They used a template, they put a template on there. Well, the template isn't going to be exact. They wanted to bang them out. So because the Floyd might be off in the position, they widen the neck pocket. So you could move the neck a little bit, if the strings don't line up. And, that's the wrong way to do it. If you really, really wanted to make it good, you'd have that neck pocket tight as you could get it. You'd bolt that neck on, and then you'd set up where the Floyd goes and drill your holes and put it in like that. That's what I do. Yeah.
There you go. Right on.
The fly in the ointment, the monkey in the wrench, quoting Die Hard, if you will.
Let's see. Who's this? Wait, who just sent this in? We're getting a lot of photos and stuff sent in. Joseph sends in. Let's see. Here's a guitar. I guess this is a Kramer right here. See if you recognize any initials on here. I guess. I don't know if you can see that. It looks like it says, say Ron? RJM?
RJM?
Do you recognize any of that? Yeah, it says it's from 84. 9/19/84.
Wow, I wasn't in the. Oh, I remember that guy. That's the guy that I replaced. He was
Really?
Yeah, he was really well known for dressing necks, and I knew the other two guys in there, but this guy had just got canned, and I'm the one that they threw in the neck room after him. He was pretty legendary for his dress jobs. But
wow.
yeah, I used to hear tales about him all the time when I was getting redresses. I'd say reject lots of things until Eddie told us how to do it, right?
Yeah.
Nobody in the world is going to dress a neck like that. They all have to be precisely, level and check every fret so it's exactly in the right place. And that's like, yeah, right, go ahead, do it that way. That's fine, So I'm not going to play. You're not going to get your action down. I'm not going to play all that great, but, But a lot of people never played anything that does play great. I'm spoiled. I was there. I had gotten a Floyd Rose from a guy in the factory in 1982. Okay, I was getting a guitar built by Bill Isaacson. And he knew a guy in the factory. I knew another guy working there. And this guy rolled up to my house with this Floyd Rose I bought for $100. 1982. But before they were, even they weren't even available. But in '82, American,
really?
yeah,
And they were
American
custom?
Well, they were sending them. They were limited production.
Okay.
American Metal Works or American Precision Metal Works was sending them bridges. Now they were an offshoot company of Kaler, and Kaler got the contract actually and sent it to a guy in his shed that was American Precision Metal Works, and he made these things. And they used piece of plate steel, and bent it, with the hydraulic press. They bent the thing into the whale tail shape. Okay, so they weren't cast. And also you had Fernandez that made these, out of plate steel. Both those companies, and these are really really rare Floyds. This one on this guitar is an American Metal Works. And this one they only made for 1 month because it has the saddles that aren't T saddles. These are the saddles that we know today. And they also put brass string blocks in them. So this is pretty rare bridge only made for a month. And the Fernandez ones were pretty well known too, where they embossed the Floyd Rose name on them. And then you had Schaller, and Schaller was making them with cast base plates. Schaller was the cheapest. They got the contract. But yeah, it wasn't like, all of a sudden there was Floyd Rose, in like '84, late '83. They were there. They were kind of getting their stuff together at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I like all the early Floyds. Better tolerances, tighter fine tuners, and wood screws into the wood. No inserts.
Yeah. Yeah.
An insert will move.
That's what I like too.
The insert will move inside there. If you do have inserts on your bridge, take some painter's tape or pipe tape, put it around the thread, and put it back in. It'll stop it from moving. It depends how particular you are. Obviously, I'm extremely rabbit hole, super particular, and it's got to be super right. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have Floyd Roses out there that have inserts that, they might not even notice the extremely slight amount that it might not stay in tune, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But
hey man, if my guitar goes out of tune, I just hit the chorus pedal, man.
Well, Johnny, you got a great ear. You got a great ear. You don't even use it. You don't even use a tuner, man. I heard you.
No, I don't. I normally don't use a tuner. Actually, when I was at the store I was at the other day, what was it? Guitar Showcase in Campbell, California. When I was there playing the new Eruption guitar. Check out that live video if you guys haven't seen it yet. The guy actually brought me a tuner to use, and I didn't use it. I just tuned the guitar by ear. But hey, also I found that photo, the photo that we were talking about earlier. I found it. I think that's the photo that you're talking about right there.
That's the photo. That is it.
Okay.
That's the first 5150 experiment with the distorted neck. It's got the Rockinger locking nut, the piece of vinyl record, and the specially wound pickup for Eddie. And that was the Seymour Duncan Alnico 2 42 gauge wire, staggered winding pickups, wax potted. And I use that version of that pickup on almost all my guitars. To me, that's the closest I could get to what Eddie was doing in the early days.
Oh man,
B2, Women and Children, Fair One, in that time, right?
Mm-hmm. So this guitar, this became what for us nerds, this became the Kramer ad guitar, I believe.
Well, he used the Pacer Deluxes for the ad Frankies. Those are made in
Mm-hmm.
Poplar too, and he played those most of the time. It wasn't like he was playing the original Frankie. That had squawking problems too, because of the alder
Right.
or the ash. It's a dense wood, and it doesn't absorb the frequencies like if you really want to get really really good sounding, feedback changing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but at that time they were considering that was like the beginning of the 5150, even though it's not the 5150 body.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like it was like the new Frankenstein, I guess. It was like the next one, and then from there, that's when he technically he went back to the Frankenstein and then went to the 5150 right after that. If you want to be really technical about that. Let's see. Let's see. What else? Laz is here, I think. Our friend Music Therapy Laz. So look out, he has a wrench, so behave. Behave, everybody. And actually, I saw a question from Janice. Our friend Janice has a
All
question.
right, hey Janice.
Janice is saying, who is Kramer? Who is Kramer?
Well, he was the guy that was in the business, you know, before the wooden necks. He was with the aluminum necks out of California. And Johnny's actually been to his house. And he sold his name rights before any of these wooden neck guitars were ever made. But they kept his name. Yeah,
Yeah.
you go to his house, Johnny.
Gary. Well,
Gary.
technically, I didn't go to his house, but I went to his. He has it's like a wine bar, Kramer like showroom, and
Right.
I went down there for the opening. It's only 2 hours south from here, and actually, I'll be going back there again at some point, and we'll actually be talking to Gary. I'm looking to see. I have photos with him because he signed my Ripley. I have photos with him here somewhere, but yeah, awesome dude. And so anyway, so that's where the name Kramer came from. But he was around like way back, so he wasn't even there like when it became like when the Van Halen era of Kramer started. He wasn't really. He had already left, or he was like, right?
Yeah,
Something
he
like that.
got out. He got out when they moved from California. Back in the Travis Beane days.
Mm-hmm. No
Yeah.
relation to me, although I wish we were related. We need a Johnny Beane Kramer guitar. That sounds good to me. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I'm looking. I've got so many. I've got so many pictures of this stuff, and once in a while, I'm able to find one to show on the fly. But
Well, that
but
was
guys,
impressive. You found that factory photo. That was impressive.
yeah, I found that. There it is, right there, and I think that didn't that Kramer neck there, didn't that come off of an Explorer, like an
Well,
Explorer that was made?
it was it was an Ibanez. That neck was made to look like from what's that Ibanez? It's not it's a destroyer, right?
The
Ibanez.
Destroyer. Mm-hmm.
That's why we call it the destroyer, because after Ed hacked it up, it kind of fell apart. But yeah, that's the neck that Kramer made to go on that guitar with the banana.
Mm-hmm.
I think they only made two of those necks.
Let me see. I think I have a photo of that guitar. Wait, is this it? Wait, did I find it? No. There's this one here. I'm sure. Maybe you've seen this one. I don't know if you've seen this picture here. if you've seen that. It's like a couple different guitars from the Kramer factory at some point.
Huh.
Different stuff, but I think I do have a photo here somewhere of this neck right here on a body. Not that body, but I think there's like an Explorer type body that it's on.
Oh, you mean like a destroyer before it split in two?
Maybe. If we can get lucky, I can find it. Or again, if anybody has it, if you want to send it in, that'd be cool. Or if you guys, again, if you guys remind me about this stuff, like on a later show, say, hey Johnny, remember that one photo? Maybe I can find it and I can show it. Let me see. Alonzo just sent something else in. Let's see. Is this? Oh, dude, that's it, man. You found it. Well, technically, okay, that's not on that body. Let me see. Wait a minute. Hang on. Is this the one? Okay, yeah. That might be the body I was talking about, but that's a different neck. Maybe you've seen this, Robbie. You seen that one?
Yeah, it could have been one of the attempts to, fix the destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, those attempts went on for years. I was there in '84. They were still trying to fix that, and it would still break it apart.
This is way before '84. Yeah, this is like '82.
Right, '82 sounds about right.
It even has a Van Halen logo in it right there. Wow. Alonzo, thank you, man. And hey, Michael B., thank you, dude. Continued support. Amazing guests on the Johnny Beane channel. Yeah. It's pretty good. Michael, thank you, man. Let me see. Let's see. We got, who else is in here tonight? We normally do like when we do the shows, we do like a roll call. We say hello to everybody. Actually, here's how we can do this. Everybody, let me know where you guys are watching from tonight.
Norman, Oklahoma.
Okay, I'm in Santa Cruz. I'll put that in. I'll type for you, Robbie.
Oh, does that mean I have a chance to win the Diver Down album now?
Sure. Yeah. You're in Norman, Oklahoma. Robbie's in Norman, Oklahoma. There we go. Yeah, and thank you for reminding me. Van Halen, Diver Down, we're giving this away tonight. All you got to do is participate in the chat. That's all you got to do. Let me see. It actually says how many what do you call it? We have 56 entries. We have 56 entries for this tonight. You guys know this album. So we're giving this away tonight. Randomly. It's a random drawing. But you got to be in the chat. You got to say something in the chat. And here on YouTube, you have to be subscribed. You have to be subscribed to the channel. And speaking of that, make sure to give Robbie a subscribe over on YouTube. Well, when we started the show, he had 30 subscribers. At the end of the show tonight, I'll refresh the page. So nobody tell me if you're looking. Nobody tell me. We'll do the big reveal at the end and see how many subscribers. It's like, here we go. He's at 30. And then all of a sudden, 28.
Oh, I lost 2. I didn't play with my teeth to offend somebody.
Man, Robbie, that's something you'll realize too. The more you post on the internet, the more stuff you post, you do grow a following and stuff, but you lose. Like people like come and go and so like the more you post, you'll notice your numbers they kind of go down. Dude, on Instagram, I lose like 130, 150 followers like a month on Instagram.
Well,
Like I gain.
I hope
I'll
to be enchanting.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's like you gain followers. Like I'll gain 150 and then I'll lose that same 150 like the next week, but then I'll gain another. Like it keeps like it's a really weird. It's weird how that stuff works. But let me see. Hang on. Michael B, thank you, Michael B. And then CC is saying, how do we contact Robbie for guitars? If you want to work on somebody's guitar, how do they contact you?
Oh, geez, I don't know, Johnny. What do you think?
Well, don't give your address out. That's one thing I wouldn't do.
Well, I can protect myself, but you're correct there. And if I were to work on somebody's guitar, they're going to know I live. They're going to have to buy parts, and usually it costs me at least $2,500 in parts to build one.
Mm-hmm.
That's without labor. So,
Mm-hmm.
like believe it or not, this one probably cost me about $2,700 with the case. I got the old Kramer case to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was lucky. This neck, $300. A neck like this now is like $15. Easy. And there's not a lot of people out there who say, "Well, I'm going to buy this ESP non-tilt banana from 1982 or earlier, for $1,000." And I think, well, I could buy a whole guitar for $1,000. Well, yes, you could. You could do that. And that makes sense. But you kind of get what you pay for. This is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Those were the best years for ESP non-tilt banana was from 79 to 84. And once they started making guitars, their quality fell off. I told you their quality fell off in just their whole entire packages by the, 86, 87.
Wow.
When we started getting stuff in, and we, what the heck is this? And it's a very narrow window. It is. I mean, you could make you could use lock bodies, and you could use Musicraft bodies, and now even those are hard to find. You're lucky to buy one of those for $300. So wow. But it won't. It's not going to look. It's not going to look quite right. It's going to be a little off. It depends what you're after. It really does. Heck, I sent him out to paint. It cost me. If you do the headstock like this one, where this guy Marty Bell, who's retired, and he still paints guitars for me, and I had him wrap these stripes right around the back. I just love that on the sides. I mean, yeah, I was like, well, let's just get the whole hog here. And I was hesitant to do that because it's a one-piece quarter swan maple neck. There's no flute-on fretboard. The whole thing is one piece. You got to have an 8-inch wide piece of wood to cut one of those out. And nowadays it's not going to be all hand cut out by Japanese craftsmen. It has to be CNC. It's going to be all that makes it harder for me to work with. If it's not either ESP from those years or the Canadian company Lucido that made the angled headstocks that from probably 85, probably about late 84, 85.
The angled Kramer headstocks?
Before they went pointy,
Like on my Ripley. My Ripley has a is that angle? It's tilted. It's like a tilt back. Like, would you call that a small banana? What would you call that? A hot dog? What would you call the smaller?
Well, the official term is skinny banana.
Skinny banana.
Right. So that could be from Lucido, but I doubt it because Lucido is the headstock that's on the reissue Kramers from Gibson. That shape is the Lucido shape. That transferred when Gibson sold the company where Kramer sold the company to Gibson. What never transferred was the Paul Unkert glue-up shape. Eddie had the rights to that when he left the company, and he never sold it to anybody. He kept that. And that's why your
Really?
EVH guitars actually have a Hamer headstock. That's why it doesn't look quite right, because that's an actual Hamer headstock. Fender bought Hamer, dissolved the company, and kept the headstock just for their 5151.
Really?
Yeah, Fender can be kind of ruthless. So, it could be worse. If you're thinking, oh, well, Gibson's making Kramer, and what if Kramer kept going? You could say, well, it could have been worse. If Fender had bought Kramer, they would have killed him. Would have just got rid of him.
Man. But so you're saying the 5150 series EVHs, though, that shape, that's like the old Hamer shape.
Yes.
That's the old Hamer. That's cool. I love Hamer guitars. I play them. I don't have any of those. I've got the 3x3 Phantoms and stuff, but that's cool.
Just throwing that out there. I'm not trashing Hamer or anything.
Well, they're not even around anymore. But yeah. Well, I told you, Robbie. I love everything. I have no problems with nobody. I don't know why people hate me so much. I have no problems. Maybe that's the reason, because I love everything.
Well, like
I love every guitar, all guitars.
You told me there's going to be haters out there, and all you can do is kind of grin and bear it and ask for more.
Yep. Smile and laugh a lot. That helps.
Hey, they're watching for some reason, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm glad the people that are watching me are really interested and really appreciate what I'm doing. That's really good. Can we do the Bumblebee story now?
Sure.
Would that be okay?
Sure. And CC, thank you again, CC. He's saying give Robbie your his contact after the show, so Robbie can contact me. Okay. All right. I'll give you CC's info.
You can text that to me, and I'll keep it in confidence, CC. You don't have to worry at all. And I'll see what I can do for you. I've kind of run up against the wall, to tell you the truth. These parts are getting harder to find all the time. Mm-hmm. I've got a whole guitar ready to go. I've got a whole guitar ready for assembly that it's got a Boogie Bodies neck from FUTONE, which is really good. I mean, they do a really good job on it. It's a large banana. It's the real deal. But that's on the Musicraft body, which I had to reshape and relocate the barrel jack, and the route for the electronics is a 1/4 inch too far close to the Floyd route, which is, I can't do anything about that. The edges are too sharp. The horn's too big. I'm not going to take that on. I sanded out the fat piece. I sanded out the this fat piece here where they bulb out. And I just can't. Maybe you guys out there could help me get inspired, because I just can't seem to get into it. It's not like a 45-year-old piece of wood. It's not so hard to get, and it's such bad shape that I have to go to the ends of the earth to try to fix it and make it look. It's just, I don't know. It seems like it just seems like it's kind of like not the real deal, but in my world it's pretty. I'm way down that rabbit hole, and geez, it's got to be like just right, So I even got cleared on a 50x50 paint job on it too, and you'd think that would be enough for me to do it, because I am not going to paint my guitar. I mean, I'm just not going to do it. It's not going to look the way I want it to. I want it to.
And hey, by the way, Robbie, are you using like how are you? Your phone, like your audio, like totally cut out. I mean, it didn't cut out. You sound like a stormtrooper now, which is kind of weird, which is kind of cool.
Oh no, I didn't do anything.
Can you say open the blast doors?
Open the blast doors. Well, you can still hear me okay?
Well, You see Kramer groove? You actually sound like you're coming through here, which is kind of weird.
Oh man, maybe
Like a stormtrooper.
is that any
Yeah.
better?
No. Can you jump out and can you jump back in? Can you click on the link again?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
All right. So,
Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. Sounded like it was coming through here. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah, Robbie, exit out from this, exit out from there, and then do like a fresh, like jump back into the video. That might fix it. Okay, he's gone. Okay, he'll be back. You guys, this is awesome. This is an awesome awesome show. Robbie is an awesome dude. If you're just tuning in, he worked for Kramer Guitars way back, and I guess '84 for a while. It's my tinnitus that's doing that. Oh, I've got horrible tinnitus, you guys. All right, okay, Robbie's back. Let's see. Let's see.
look, I am your father.
There we go. Awesome. Sounds good.
All right. Bob. All right. I'm gonna sing at you, Johnny.
Okay.
Hold on. Oh yeah, it's Johnny Beane TV.
Thank you, Rob. We just got a new channel ID. Look at that. We're going crazy with these channel IDs now, man. We everybody's making them now.
All right, so you
This
can
is
hear
great.
me.
We can hear you again. We
All
can hear you again.
Everybody knows the Bumblebee, right?
Yeah.
All this stuff, Charvel. He had the body made in his shop. He paid it. He assembled a guitar, set it up and everything, right? And there's, what was the Bumblebee made out of? Well, there's a lot of people that say it's made out of ash. It could have been made of alder. Either one's probably true. Now, Eddie got the guitar and he took the picture with it. Okay, he got the photo,
Mm-hmm.
and then, like Ed, he immediately disassembled it. I mean, he just tore it apart, And he tried several necks on it. He could not get the high pitched squeal out of the amps with the harder wood. I mean, he loved the paint job. Didn't like the neck. Put several necks on there. Then he actually put a tone pot inside the electronic cover so you could turn it from inside. He didn't want anybody to see that he was having to use a tone pot because with Ed, if you use an extra potentiometer, you are putting more signal to ground. At that time, it was important to Ed to have signal strength. Signal strength means that you don't put stuff to ground. Every effects box you have, when you turn the tone to make it warmer, it's sending your signal to ground to make that warmer tone. Okay? If you have more than one pickup, it's going to ground. Eddie knew damn well how to put a tone pot in there. He knew darn well how to wire it. But that's why he didn't do it, because it was sucking a signal, and if the signal's not strong, you're not going to get strong reactive feedback like he was getting at the time. Now, mind you, this was before your solid state preamps that, pretty much anything you play through is going to sound okay through that. This is before all that. So he kept trying to get this guitar work. And he ended up having Schecter make him a custom body. And I believe it was made of basswood. And he got it wet. He could put in one potentiometer. He didn't need that extra tone knob he was hiding. He could play the thing, and I think that's what he used on the tour. So he came back from the tour and he goes into this bar. Guys, you guys are going to love this, all right? He goes into this bar in Los Angeles and he sees some, no-name guy playing in a band, and his guitar has a Bumblebee paint job, right? Now, Ed was a really cool cat. man, you couldn't face the guy. He was just super cool, all right? Well, smoke came out of his ears on this one. He wanted to know. He pressed this guy. Where the heck did you get that? Well, his language was more flavorful, let's say. And, and I mean, and Ed was a small guy. He was a light frame. He was, kind of short. I mean, when I stood next to him, I felt like the Jolly Green Giant, I couldn't believe how tiny this guy was, and he actually intimidated this guy. Tell him how he got that body. Grover Jackson was painting bumblebees for anybody that wanted one when Ed was on tour and selling them for $6,000.
Dang.
To say the least, Ed was pissed.
When was this? What year was this?
Right when he came back from the V2 tour.
79, 80, somewhere?
Yeah, right around then. That's before he talked to his agent talked to the guy that ran Kramer,
Right.
Names have been changed to protect the innocent at this point, and I refuse to confirm nor deny any aspects of any stories I've said today. Now that takes care of it. Legal problems I have. I can't mention these people's names. They're probably still powerful today. But, yeah, that was it for Eddie. If you crossed Eddie, that was it for you. And he never had anything to do with Grover Jackson after that. He went home, he took that bumblebee apart, and he never played it again. And then, when Dimebag got shot, he bolted it back together and put it in his coffin because he knew he was friends with Dime, and he knew he loved that part. But I thought you guys might find that interesting. If you want to build a bumblebee and make it out of ash or alder, and try to play through Marshalls like that, you'll see what I mean about getting those squelchy high tones. Unless of course you have a modeling amp or a solid state preamp or any of this new stuff that people use nowadays. Then it doesn't matter if you're playing through a piece of concrete.
Yeah.
As far as I see it.
Robbie, I know how you feel about your amps and stuff, man. I mean, it's the real deal. The good stuff. Yeah, dude, that's man.
That's what.
And actually, what was that?
I said that's one of my favorites.
Michael B says, tone wood.
Yes. If you go through a tube amplifier, tone wood does matter. If you do not have a solid state preamp, tone wood does matter. If you have a modeling amp or you use a solid state preamp, well, you have one of these, kind of, what do they call them? Hybrid amps that have power tubes and solid state preamps, which a lot of amps do now. It's not going to really matter because all your sound's coming through the solid state preamp, But if you're going through tube Marshalls, it's going to matter. One of my first amps was a 71 Marshall Super Lead 100 watt. Okay. And so I love that feedback. I love the sound out of it. And I didn't have wax potted pickups. I wasn't the genius Ed was. They're wax potted pickups so you get good feedback. My palm was glued to that bridge, baby. You had to control that feedback. And forget it if you had a hollow body. That would be just outrageous, So that's kind of, that's the kind of thing I do. When I get feedback, I want it to split. I want it to split octaves 3 times. I want it to be right there. I want it to have a life for its own. I want it to bloom, just like you hit a guitar note, and and it takes off and it blooms. Yeah. Woo!
Yeah. It's a great sound. You guys, if you're just tuning in, this is Robbie. He worked for Kramer, and he's telling some awesome stories. By the way, you guys can subscribe to Robbie. Here's his channel down here. There you go. And by the way, we're giving away some Van Halen vinyl tonight. We're giving away Diver Down. So all you got to do is say hi in the chat or ask questions, leave comments. All you got to do, and you'll be entered to win this vinyl copy of Diver Down. You guys know this one. You guys know the songs on there.
Oh, I got to tell you, a lot of people give that album grief. You know, publicly, Ed gave it some grief. When we made the Diver Down guitar for him at the factory, he actually hated it. He wouldn't have anything to do with it. But you know,
hey, Alice,
I got to tell you, when I learned how to play Hang 'Em High, I mean, that song, the way Eddie played it originally, because, you know, Eddie wasn't one to just keep the hands in one space. He would hop around. You know, it's like there's a part in there that goes, like in concert, you'll see Eddie going like right, to do that part. But actually, when he first did it, it was like he'd do it with the chords, like, you know, he'd do that hammer in, and he'd move the finger, and it sounded the same with Panama too. You know, there's lots of people that play Panama with their hands stationary, right? But I don't do it. To me, it's like, you know, you're moving around. You're doing the different notes. And I think they both kind of bloomed out of a piece that him and Alex would do at concerts, where they do a jam piece. And, of course, Hang 'Em High went way, 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 way back, you know. But I haven't really tried to do that song on the channel because I can't get the playing and the singing. I have a really hard time singing David Lee Roth. You know, it's his voice. It's just, I can't do the screeching. I don't know who can, you know. But, like, the range of his voice is pretty far, and it's really hard to duplicate, you know. That's why I'm doing so many Jim Morrison songs, because, you know, my voice is lower like that. Or I did with Johnny Cash, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on a Genesis song called "The Musical Box," and I've been working on those lyrics too. And my voice kind of fits Gabriel, you know. And I've been working on that for a few days now. It's gonna be a while. It's gonna be the next video, so it's gonna be a little bit before I get that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys check out Robbie's channel. He's been posting a lot of cover tunes and talking about guitars. And hey, let's just say hello. We got some more people in here. We got Alice Martinez. Good to see you, Alice. She's saying hi to Mike Olson. Hey, Mike Olson. Our friend Janice Lala is saying hi to Dane. So that tells me that Dane is in here somewhere. Hey, Dane. There he is. Zim's Guitars. He says he knows a guy that owns one of the first 5 Bumblebees made. Oh, wow. Dang. Let's see. Majestic PB&J Cat is saying he's lurking while he cooks. Right on, man. Let's see. Thank you for the pick, Johnny. It's awesome. Sherman Callahan says, I guess he won a guitar pick on here. You're welcome, man. You're welcome, Sherman. Great to see you, as always. Great to see everybody in here. You guys are awesome. Tyler Johnston Guitars saying Robbie Zeppelin was great.
Thanks, Tyler. Hey, Tyler Johnston. This kid, he's a vet. He was in the Air Force. He's making videos, and you know, try to support him. He's just starting out. He's a really good guy. He jumps all over my stuff when it comes out, you know. And thanks for that, for the Zeppelin. Zeppelin seems to have lost favor recently, you know. I mean, I played Zeppelin for years. One of my first guitars was a Gibson double neck. It was white, you know, and I did the whole Zeppelin thing. I had the bow, you know. I did all the Zeppelin songs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, back then it was pretty good. Through the Marshall, you know. Actually, the the bridge pickup originally that was in that double neck went into the Red Tiger guitar, and that was interesting too because I didn't know what Ed was doing at the time. I heard from the factory what was going on, but I wasn't working there yet, so people told me, well, Ed's using, he's only using one tone, it's one volume pot, and I said, well, that's crazy. I want a tone pot, I was young and stupid, and
I still am young and stupid.
Well, I don't know how young I could be at 60 years old, but I put that Gibson pickup into that red guitar, which was one humbucker, and I didn't slant it; it was straight. But I had bought the Charvel San Dimas neck for it, in '82, and it was ebony fingerboard and hard maple neck, and Isaacson routed it out to be, so you had to use a shim for it. And brilliant me, in 1982, before anybody else did this, I said, well, let's use wood screws to attach the nut onto the neck, because I thought, if you're crazy drilling a hole through the neck to mount the nut. And that was a disaster. I mean, I used to do, all this motor sounds with the Floyd, hit the springs on the back to make it sound like a horror show, and the neck, the nut would get loose and it'd start flopping around, and I'm like fine tuning on the fly, and it was insane. But now they lots of people do top mounted Floyd nuts, and I look at that and kind of have nightmares. I think I'll always drill through now countersink. You got a Floyd nut, mount it from the back.
Yes, I agree. I have to agree with that.
Take your hand drill and drill a hole through, and countersink with a bigger bit, and go for it. Just go for it. And that's one of the best parts about working on guitars. You got some super rare old body. You gotta drill a hole for the the ground going from the electronic cavity into the Floyd route, and this big old bit on there. Yeah, hog it out, man. Yeah, sure, you paid like all kinds of money for this body, but it always comes down to that. It's either it's either gonna work or it ain't, and it's just thrilling to just and that's the same kind of thing where you're drilling through a neck. You lay out your holes, and you start with smaller drill bits, and then you finally get to that big bit, and you're just hoping it doesn't grab. Then you're like making plugs and gluing and waiting.
Yeah. I want it now. Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of you guys. Eric Casper is here. Dude, you have that awesome Kramer Beretta Special that you did, man. Dude, again, I'm thinking about that guitar, man. That thing was awesome. But you got all these dudes here making their own guitars, and I'm starting to get the bug again. I haven't built a guitar in years. I've been pretty happy with what I have, but now it's like yeah, I would like to slap a couple guitars together again, and it's awesome. It's awesome. You're right, Robbie. This is an awesome chat. These guys are great.
You are. It is. I wouldn't be doing it. I wouldn't be doing any of this if it wasn't for you guys. I've been on lots of channels, in comment sections, and you get the cold shoulder, or you don't get any reply, or you try to reach out to the people and you get absolutely nothing, because they're all like thinking about themselves all the time. And I'd almost given up. I saw Johnny's channel and I thought, oh, here's another guy that's trying to do a, Van Halen thing. Here, this is Zora. This is Zora, Princess Zora.
Aw, hey, Zora.
Yeah, you gonna say hi, girl? Look, you're on TV. Look. Hey, Ned's in there. Ned is in there. Ned is in there.
Hey, Ned, come here. Come meet Zora. Ned, come here.
Zora. Hey, Zora. What are you doing? Oh, there she is.
Oh, look at that.
Good girl.
Oh, wow.
Good girl. You know, I love
Wow.
you. Yeah. Okay. She's a princess, you know.
We
She
love
has,
cats here, you guys.
she has 2 separate litter boxes, you know. Very demanding. They got to be
Ned
clean.
Ned has 2 separate litter boxes too.
Cool.
Yeah. He has one in here and one out there.
Yeah, she stays in. She stays in.
Ned.
She's got one she likes to do pee pee in, and another she likes to go poo poos. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That is
Man.
funny. So, I mean, Ed would go in the factory all the time. And when I first got there and I worked in the assembly room, you know, I would see him a lot, you know. And every day after lunch, he'd come in and he'd like try to put guitars together. Now, maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 actually made it through. Most of the time, they were disassembled and ran through production again. You had to strip all the paint off of them, reseal them, repaint them. Because Ed would use the hand drill to put the neck screws in, you know?
Wait, are you saying that Edward would come in and he would put a guitar together at Kramer?
Yeah.
And when he'd leave, you guys would take those guitars apart?
Well, it depends on what he did. Lots of times, you know, because he'd use the drill. If he was putting the pickup ring in, you know, and he'd go, whoa, and it would slip off and you know, across the body and just to kind of destroy it, you know. So that was, you know, that had to be redone. I would put the neck screw in, right? I would put the neck screw in and like, and, you know, he wouldn't like drill the hole through the body first. They only had like a pre-drilled hole, you know. And you'll see this with a lot of Jackson guitars, you know, that are imports. They'll drill the screw in, and then it goes through the wood of the body and into the neck. Makes it like almost impossible to remove the screw if you had to work on the guitar, you know. And by '86, they were doing all of them that way, but you know, quality had fallen off by that time. But yeah, and he tried to drill it in, and you get the screw at the angle, and it would, you know, it'd crack a piece of the body off or something, you know, or it would slip off the screw and go across the back of the body. Just, you know, a big gouge in it. And I got to tell you, to this day, I always use a screwdriver and a pair of pliers to torque. You know, I pull that screwdriver. You know, I don't use a drill for that. I will drill with it. I will make drill holes with it. But no, that left such an impression on me. I will never do that. So there's another thing that he helped me with, you know. But you got to remember, back then, Ed was kind of like a regular guy. He was big at his concert, you know. The concert was huge. He had all his fans would come from, you know, miles around and go and see his shows. But, you know, back then, it was kind of like a selective group. You had your Van Halen people, you know. You had, like, you know, your Motley Crue people. You had your Rat people. You had, you know, your Def Leppard people, you know. Of course, we saw all of them in the factory too.
The people that worked. You're talking the people that worked at Kramer. You're saying like.
Oh no, I'm talking about those bands.
Or just in. Okay.
They'd go through the factory, you know, all the hair bands, you know.
Oh, so all the bands, because you were saying Kramer back then like had like 1,000 endorsees, so they would all be coming through the factory.
100. Yeah. But yeah, they'd all go through the factory. I saw all those guys, you know, and none of them were particularly big either. You know, they were all kind of they weren't really tall people, you know. But like I said, Ed was kind of when he wasn't in the concert arena, he was just a regular guy. You could walk around town. He'd go to Red Man Music, you know. He'd look at stuff. He could go eat someplace. He never got mobbed or anything, you know. So back then, it was just, you know, he was popular in a certain crowd. It wasn't like across the board, like, you know, like came later, you know.
Right.
and that just helped. That just helped with him being more personable to people. Now, of course, you didn't talk to Ed unless he talked to you first, and nobody talked to Seymour Duncan. And there's one thing he did not want released was that Seymour Duncan '78 pickup. He did not want anybody to know that. And he'd go to great lengths. He would change the bobbins, make it look like a different pickup. He would do that. He would take Alnico 5 magnets and switch them out with Alnico 2 magnets, just so he could get his sound.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And and he was really secretive of that. But he'd come up to you and start talking. Especially when he did some work on a neck, and he didn't really want people to know, some schmo in the neck department was redoing a Billy Connolly dress job. He didn't do that, you don't want people to know that. Well, I'm glad I was there,
Wow, that's amazing, man.
Like that Neptune guitar, and you said that there was one made before I got there with Paul Unkert and all. But I actually saw him paint and assemble 2 of those in '84 when I was in that assembly room.
So there's another guitar out there that was similar, like similar to the Neptune, or
yeah, it was pretty close to the same thing.
There's got to be way more. Like I was telling you, Robbie. Actually, one of the things when I first started doing these shows, like we're going on like 7 years ago, one of my ideas was to start talking about, Van Halen guitars and talk about the ones that I liked, and a lot of the guitars that I just love are the Kramer, the red, black, and white Kramers, like the ones that you either never saw him play, or the ones that he gave away, or whatever. Like, let me see, I can find I'll find a picture of like 1 or 2 or something here, like just the ones that are just different, like this one. I'll show a few pictures here, like that one,
right?
That one there. That one's actually up in Seattle, actually at a what's the place called? It's a museum, and there's like a rock area, and actually that's what I used for the what do you call it tonight? That guitar. So there's like that one there, and actually this one was on tour on the FUTONE 50 tour. You can actually see it like in his rack of guitars. Yeah,
that's a tilted stock.
So yeah, but yeah, guitars, stuff, Actually, I just found a really good picture of it. Actually, there you go. There,
Yeah, that looks like a Canadian Lucido neck. And I think those are the second best necks. Those few years of Lucido, and most '85 Kramers tilted are Lucido necks. There are a few ESPs. I have a transition ESP on one of my guitars. The headstock's a little bit fatter, but it's not like the traditional Grail type headstock. That's my favorite, But then again, I haven't got one of these, one of Kyle's at Dive Bombs, right exact where Paul Unkert glued it to. Paul Unkert even looked at him and okayed him with Kyle. And, I'm thinking maybe one day getting one of those. He only charged like $265 for it, non-tilt banana, and paint it lightly so you can see the lines through the glue seams, because that's what, if you look super closely at Ed's, that's what his look like. Even though myself, I prefer the one-piece Cordis one, ESP non-tilt. Yeah, he loved the factory. I mean, he would be if he was in a concert close by, he would get on a private jet and fly to Jersey to be at the factory the next day until he had to fly back for the next concert. That's how much he loved it. It was him making guitars that he thought of. and that was really big.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he was just a like he would say, a punk kid that plays guitar. I mean, he loved the stuff.
And that's what he thought. You get all these people playing Van Halen now, and they all want to be exactly what Eddie played, and they all try to cram all these notes into a certain amount of time. And Eddie really wasn't like that. Timing was his most important thing. You had to be on time. If you didn't get all the notes in, just keep going. He wasn't going to like throw a song out of time because he didn't get this note or that note in. And he wasn't out to be super precise. He was conveying his idea through the playing and keeping it in time. So I think a lot of today's players are kind of missing the boat where they're trying to get every note in because Eddie was wicked quick, and they're losing kind of like the feel and the dexterity, and the representation of what he did in an attempt to have every note in there. Just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him play at the factory lots of times. That's one of the things they do. After lunch, he would screw together a guitar. Good, bad, or ugly, having to be reproduced, whatever. Then he played it. The people at the factory, wow, God, well, he's really messed up that guitar, right? When he put it together, and then he would plug it into the amp and he'd play, and we'd be like pretty much awestruck, that it was just so easy for him to play, and I think that's because he's having fun. He's having a lot of fun doing it, and that was, nobody knew, like, it was going to turn out to what it is now. I'm sure everything he ever touched would have been preserved and whatnot. But,
that's what I was going to say. I couldn't believe that, how he would come in and do something to a guitar and you guys would take it and fix it.
Well, it was the factory. They wanted to sell guitars. It was a money thing,
right.
Just like the tilted headstock.
Mm-hmm.
The leaders at Kramer made the tilted headstock because it saved money. They could use a thin piece of wood and glue a headstock on the end. And
I just found a picture of, I don't know where this photo came from, but I just found a photo of, if you guys are curious of what the 5150 headstock, something like that looked like underneath, this is what you would see. Yeah, sorry, it's like, there we go. See how it's like glued at the end, and then you can see like the holes are like that. Right. See
the fill holes. Yeah, that's the kind of thing Kyle does at Dive Bomb.
There we go. So that's what Eddie's actual necks looked like, or headstocks. They look like that. Oh. So.
Yeah, so I think
I don't know where that came from.
It's nice to keep those glue lines so you can see them through the paint, which isn't really hard to do. It's just a little less prep. Mm-hmm. And over time, stuff like that tends to show anyway.
Right.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Let me see. We're actually kind of running low on time. We're almost at 2 hours. It's almost dinner time around here. The Axe has a question. Let's go. Here's a question for Robbie. The EVH Stripe Series necks are supposed to be based on the 5150. Have you tried the EVH necks?
Yeah, I've played them. I mean, to me, I'm not going to say they don't play good. Yeah, they play good and all that. They glue on the fingerboard. Eddie's necks were one piece of wood with the skunk stripe. They didn't have a glue-on fingerboard. They were handcrafted by people.
Mm-hmm.
I know it plays well. It does. I'm not going to put their neck down. I think they probably could have done better if they wanted to put more money into it. But I don't really think Eddie was telling all his secrets to Fender. Eddie And he didn't like Fender. He didn't like Gibson either. He wanted to put both companies out of business when he was a Kramer. That was like his goal, you know. But a company as big as Fender, you know, it's kind of like if you can't beat them, join them.
Man. Let's see. Okay. Well, hey, Robbie, great talking to you, man. You'll have to come back, of course. Come back.
Anytime, John.
Yeah, and you guys, here's Robbie's channel again, right here. Make sure to give him a subscribe. Check out his channel. He talks Kramer guitars. He does covers of The Doors, Johnny Cash, all type. He plays guitar with his teeth.
Hey, thank you all, you guys. I mean, thank you for watching the videos and the comments. I just love the comments, you know, and your interest in everything. And, you know, I'm glad to be able to share some of these stories with you, you know, and what I do, what I've been doing with the guitars. And, you know, it's really given me, I haven't played this much in years. It's really enhancing my life. I'm even having less pain, you know, being involved in all this. And, you know, hey, Johnny, man, you're great, Johnny.
Thank you, man. Thanks. I'm glad I could help. You know, I'm glad all you guys that enjoy this stuff. I'm happy to be here. And hey, before we leave, we gotta do the giveaway here. We actually have 66 entries here for the Diver Down LP. So let me just quick check the list and see some of the recent names, 'cause we like to give everybody a chance. Okay, all right. Again, Diver Down LP giveaway. You ready, Robbie?
Hey, good show tonight, man.
All right, here we go. Vintage Sounds.
All right.
Vintage Sounds, you're the winner. You won the Diver Down. Vintage Sounds Diver Down LP. There we go. I got that for the list. So, hey, Vintage Sounds, text that phone number below, 415-952-3263. And I'll get your info and your... you won. And yeah, Danny of New Jersey's losing streak is intact. One of these days, Dan of New Jersey. Oh, okay. Oh, wait. We got to check. Okay, we got to check your... let's see. You were at 30 subscribers when we started. You're now at...
31.
37. No, I'm kidding. 51.
You've got to be kidding me. Wow.
To make this perfect, somebody unsubscribed, so he's at 50, and then resubscribe. No, I'm kidding. 5150, get it? You're at 50. So we grew your channel tonight 30 by 21 subs.
Wow, that's great.
And that's just
Thank
live.
you so much.
That's just live during this. It'll grow during the rest of the week. So
I can't thank you guys enough, you know. Yeah, like my next video, I'm working on a song by Genesis called The Musical Box.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably from about 1973. It's from the Nursery Crime album. And I've been working on that a lot. There's a lot of parts to it. So it's taken me some time. You know, I haven't really putting out as many videos as there was at one time.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be next.
Awesome. Hey, you got Robbie. Thank you again. Thank you for being here, and it's great. I've made a new friend here because Robbie, we talk on the phone, and it just this is awesome. This is awesome.
That's for sure, Johnny. This chat room is fantastic. You know, y'all got to see Zora. You know.
Yep.
But it's really cool. She's a little star. She's got 80 views on a short.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much, channel members. Thank you for your continued support for this channel here on I was gonna say on Johnny Beane TV. You guys, thank you so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. It's Saturday. I haven't done a proper Saturday night for a couple weeks now because I sat in with the band 2 weeks ago, and then Billy Sheehan was here last week, so I haven't really done a proper Saturday. But tomorrow night we'll do something. We'll do something cool. So, you guys, thank you for watching. And
thank you, everybody. Thank you,
Robbie.
everybody.
Don't hang up, Robbie. Don't hang up. Okay.
Okay, I'm hanging in.
Okay, you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Johnny Beane TV. Bye. Hey, this is Billy Sheehan. You're watching Johnny Beane TV.
Okay, ready?
Ready.
Hola, amigos. This is your bass player, Billy Sheehan. You're watching me right here on my dear friend, John. It went away.
Oh, no.
Johnny Beane. I can. We do radio IDs all the time, but if it's not written down, even if the guy is standing right there, it's a weird mental problem.
You said we're dear friends,
Johnny
but then you
Beane,
couldn't remember my name.
dear friend, what's it?
Who is that?
No, it's a weird thing. Whenever we do radio IDs or TV things, if it's not written down, you're lost. It's hilarious. But Johnny Beane, come on, here we go. Let's do take two. I'll get it this time. I swear to God.
All right, ready.
All right. Hola, amigos. This is Billy Sheehan, your bass player, here with my dear friend Johnny Beane. I never forget this guy. He's been so wonderful for me. Let me do take three. Sorry.
Thank you, Billy.
I overdid it now. Here we go. Hola, amigos. This is Billy Sheehan, your bass player, saying hello to you from the fabulous Johnny Beane Show. And thank you for having me on, Johnny. And I hope I see you all around. New Talus is out. New Winery Dog's coming. Gracias.